Every college generation finds its own way to stand out, but for the students of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, their campuses were their runways. Before hashtags, before influencers, and long before you could order an outfit with a single click, fashion was deeply personal. It was stitched, patched, ironed, and worn with pride. Let's rewind the clock and see how college students expressed who they were through their style. Our journey begins in the early 1960s, a time when college fashion was clean, conservative, and heavily influenced by the prestigious Ivy League. Think crisp button-down shirts, cozy cardigans, and classic pleated skirts. Women completed their looks with elegant saddle shoes and structured handbags, while men often sported smart blazers with ties. The overall vibe was polished and proper, like you just stepped out of a glossy catalog. It was all about looking put together and ready for success. A huge part of that early 60s campus identity was centered around school spirit. Letterman jackets weren't just reserved for the star athletes. They were serious fashion statements for everyone. Girls would pair their soft, pastel-colored sweaters with knee-length skirts, creating a look that was both sweet and sophisticated. Boys wore their varsity jackets with pride, a symbol of belonging that kept them warm on chilly mornings. These pieces weren't just clothing. They were emblems of campus pride, and often the backdrop for young love stories. But as the decade progressed, a new energy started to ripple across the Atlantic from London. The mod fashion wave hit American shores, and college students were ready to experiment. The conservative hemlines started to rise, and campuses began to pop with bold, geometric prints and sleek, modern silhouettes. Miniskirts, once considered scandalous, became a symbol of liberation. Turtlenecks offered a chic, intellectual look, and go-go boots added a playful, rebellious edge to the once traditional campus wardrobe. The times, they were a-changing, and fashion was leading the charge. By the late 60s, the change was no longer a ripple. It was a revolution. The hippie movement swept across the nation, and college fashion became a powerful form of protest and self-expression. Students embraced bohemian styles as a clear statement against the establishment. Bell-bottom pants, hand-embroidered vests, jackets with long fringe, and peace sign necklaces became the new uniform. This wasn't just about looking different. It was about living differently. It was a cultural movement, and its ideals were stitched right into the fabric of their clothes. As we move into the 1970s, one fabric reigned supreme: denim. Jeans went from being simple workwear to absolute campus essentials. Students lived in their jeans. We saw everything from wide flared styles to denim-on-denim looks. Denim jackets became personal canvases, covered in band patches, political pins, and hand-drawn art. This rugged, versatile fabric became the ultimate symbol of youthful rebellion and cool, casual independence. And that spirit of independence didn't stop with denim. In the 70s, college students were the original DIY masters. Why buy something from a big brand when you could make it yourself? Dorm rooms transformed into mini fashion studios. Tie-dye parties created one-of-a-kind t-shirts. Friends traded tips for hand-sewing patches onto their jeans, and unique, homemade jewelry was everywhere. Creativity was flowing just as freely as the rock and folk music pouring out of their record players. Towards the end of the decade, a new beat started to take over. Disco fever was spreading, and its glamorous influence found its way onto college campuses. The laid-back hippie look made way for something a bit more glitzy. Satin shirts with wide, bold collars, sky-high platform shoes, and shimmery, eye-catching accessories started appearing at campus parties and even in lecture halls. It was a time of fun and flamboyance, where the dance floor and the classroom weren't so far apart. Then came the 1980s, which saw the return of a more structured, put-together look, but with a whole new attitude. The preppy style made a major comeback, especially on East Coast campuses. Think of the characters in The Breakfast Club meeting the Ivy League. Polo shirts with popped collars, pastel-colored sweaters casually draped over the shoulders, and classic loafers became the signature look for many. It was a clean, aspirational style that projected confidence and status. But the 80s wasn't just about playing it safe. While some were preppy, others went big and bold. This was the era of excess. After all, oversized blazers with shoulder pads, loud graphic tees, acid-wash jeans, and brightly colored windbreakers gave campuses a vibrant, almost rebellious energy. And let's not forget the hair. Everything was bigger. Big hair, big colors, and big confidence. The 80s were all about making a statement, and students weren't afraid to be loud. From hand-me-downs customized with love to carefully curated preppy outfits, college fashion in these decades was so much more than just clothes. It was about defining your identity. Each trend, from the hippies' bell-bottoms to the yuppies' polo shirt, reflected a major cultural shift. The college campuses of the 60s, 70s, and 80s were like living style diaries, with each outfit telling a unique story. There was no Instagram, no fashion blogs, just pure creativity, culture, and the courage to be yourself. So now I have to ask you, which era's college fashion would you rock today? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for taking this trip back in time with me. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like and subscribe for more dives into fashion history. See you next time.